Hey guys, Lukas Schwekendiek here, and today I want to talk a bit about your environment. First of all, I want to talk about this 5 people thing that we all know and we've all heard somewhere, that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But what does that really mean, and what's included in that? Well, included in that is literally the 5 people you spend the most time with. That doesn't mean in person. For example, if I were to watch Tony Robbins for 12 hours religiously every single day, then he would be my number one factor. He would be the number one person and probably the top person that I average out with. And then on the other hand, if I watch some random YouTube videos of a YouTuber for entertainment for 6 hours every day, then that would be another factor that would be included in that. And then I have a friend I spend a lot of time with, I have my partner, and I might go home to visit my family, and I spend most time with one of my brothers or something like that. Then those would be the 5 people I spend the most time with, and those would average out. Now let's say you spend those 12 hours watching Tony Robbins every day, or every week, and you spend 6 hours a week watching some other YouTuber, and then you spend 18 hours with your partner, and you spend 5 hours with a friend and 2 hours with a family member. Then those would all be added up, and you would see which one of these people influences you the most. Namely, by the time you spend with them. That means if I spend 18 hours with my partner, and that's the most I spend with anyone in the week, then they would influence me the most. And then of course you have different averages because there's different personality traits, different characteristics that each of these share. For example, they're all in some way, shape or form romantic, charismatic, have a certain drive, have a certain level of passion, and you average out on all of those levels between all of them. And you can't really see most of those levels unless you really look into it. For example, if you want to raise your charisma, then look at how charismatic all of those people are and how much time you're spending with each one of them. And if you want to raise it, well, then you should push for more time for the people that are more charismatic. It's as simple as it is. So that's a huge part of your environment, because we've learned from when we were children to learn by models. Like when we see something, we want to model it and we want to do that too. And we still have that in our brain somewhere, and that's the way we learn the most. We learn by copying others. So we copy the people, obviously, that we spend the most time with. And that's on YouTube, in personal life, or through writing as well, because through writing a lot comes through as well. So just see, what do you want to get? Focus on 1 or 2 characteristics and then spend more time with the people that have the most of that characteristic. You don't have to trade your people out for new people. Unless someone is really dragging you down, then it might be worth it. But other than that, you can just shift the hours you spend with each. And eventually, maybe you should switch the people. But it's not a requirement. The other thing that I want to touch on about your environment is your surroundings. Whatever you surround yourself with, that's also going to be internalized, because you're going to spend time in that environment. This goes for everything. What you spend more time on is what influences you more. And this is in terms of what words you listen to, what words are being spoken and you receive, all the way up to what color your walls are, to what posters you have hanging in your room or in the room you spend the most time with, what kind of energy you have going on, where you live, what kind of interactions you have with people, what you do online, if you do anything online, how much you go outside. Everything counts. Literally everything. Some of these things might not influence you a lot. For example, if you have one meaningless 5-minute conversation a week, it might not influence you a lot, but it still influences you. It still has an effect on who you are becoming. And that's important to know, because when you can change everything, or the biggest things at least, then obviously you're going to improve more. You're going to average out between everything, not just the 5 people. That's a big, gigantic factor, who you spend your time with. But it's also in what setting you spend your time with, what kind of language you use, what kind of things you look at, what kind of things you smell, you taste, everything. Everything you can receive through seeing, feeling, touching, smelling, hearing, tasting, all of that has an influence on you. So what's your environment look like? Is it benefiting you? Is it pulling you back? How do you know? Well, you know by where you are right now. Right now, you are the average. You're already there. You're not going to move anywhere unless you change something. You always think, okay, well then I have to surround myself now with 5 good people. But you already did surround yourself with 5 people. There are 5 people you spend more time with. And maybe one falls off, or maybe there's a lot of them and they're very close. Well, then all of them still influence you. But you have those right now. And you have an environment right now. You have a setting right now. You have a certain language that you use right now. And all of that changes you. You get what I'm saying? Right now, you're the average of whatever your environment is. People, surroundings, what you see, what you hear, what you do. And if you want to change that, if you want to improve, then you're going to have to change your environment. You're going to have to change the people. You're going to have to change your house, your apartment, your room. You're going to have to change what kind of words you use and what kind of words you come into interaction with. And you're going to have more meaningful conversations. You're going to have to maybe go outside more, spend less time on the computer and all of that stuff. And if you want to really look what influences you the most, journal it. Write down what you did every hour of every day and then just look at it at the end of the day. See what you spend the most time on. And then over the course of the week, sum it up. Over the course of the month, sum it up. See how much time are you actually spending every month on watching YouTube videos, on watching TV, on having meaningless conversations. And then obviously the best way to change that is to change the things that you spend the most time doing. Take some hours off of that and add them to something that's more beneficial. And then slowly but surely shift your average into the right direction. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to see more input, to get more value out of this. And share this with a friend, maybe even one of your 5 people, to see if you can both help each other to benefit you more and to gain more value out of the relationship you guys have. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.